This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Some matches are temporary, but your privacy shouldn't be. With Line 2, you get a second phone line just for dating. No need to share your personal number until you're ready. You can chat, text, and even block numbers, all while keeping things fun and private. It's perfect for online dating, blind dates, or just keeping things light. When you're ready to move on, Line 2 lets you cut ties without any drama. Dating should be fun and carefree. Line 2 keeps it that way. Ready to date on your terms? Visit line2.com/audio or download Line 2 in the App Store today.
All right, back with you, 4:06 on a Tuesday afternoon. Sinykin in for Barrero. Marney Gellner joins bottom of the hour. Double T in studio at 5 o'clock. I'll see if I can twist his arm to stay through the end of the show. He's guaranteed for an hour. We might let him stick around if he's willing. All right, some news items for you. First, on the A section, New York Times reporting a jury reached a partial verdict in the Sean Combs trial, but said it was deadlocked on a charge of racketeering conspiracy. ABC News follows up with the judge, Aaron Subramanian, says he will not take a partial verdict in the Diddy trial. Once the lawyers work out the language, the judge will call the jurors into the courtroom and instruct them to keep deliberating. I forget when they went to start deliberating. It's been a couple days, I think. But that's the latest on the Diddy trial. Partial verdict, but they're deadlocked. So they're going to keep working on that. Meanwhile, your Minnesota Wild have made a move, and they've brought back a familiar face. Bill Guerin has announced the club has signed Nico Sturm. Remember him? 2-year, $4 million deal that will goes through the 26-27 season. Sturm is now 30. Spent the last season with San Jose and Florida, and I think participated in 8 playoff games with the Stanley Cup champs. Had 4 years with the Wild back in the early 20s. He is back. 14 points on the season this past season. 30 years of age, as I said. 2-year, $4 million deal. Not, going to break the bank, and certainly not going to change the dynamic of the team, but a nice veteran that you know well returns to the Wild. That's your Wild news of the day. So anything else happens there, we will let you know. Getting lots of Wolves-related questions via text. Going to save a lot of those for when Double T joins. One in particular, our good buddy John in Minneapolis, we talked about Malcolm Brogdon with Dane Moore, who didn't seem impressed that Malcolm would be interested. John writes, I'd be of the mind that I'm a better player than Mike Conley if I'm Malcolm Brogdon. I would come to the Wolves because I can win the starting point guard position. What did Conley shoot from the field last year? 36%. If he's your starting point guard, this team has no shot coming out of the West. In a perfect world at this point in his career, Mike Conley is not a starting point guard for a championship contender. He's a valuable off-the-bench guy who can spot start if you need him to. But I think we all believe it's going to be tough to expect Mike Conley to give you more than 20, 25 minutes a game at what age? 38, 39? I mean, the wild card's Dillingham. We're discounting that he's ready. But I don't know. I've been around long enough to know that I've seen 19 and 20-year-olds that can contribute right away. Again, it might be a lot to ask of a team with high aspirations. We can't dismiss it. I'd still like one more bit of insurance. I understand, Dane's belief that Ant's going to have the ball in his hands and be a primary ball carrier. But I just saw too many instances late in the season where this team just didn't have a clue in late game situations. Maybe they'll get better at that with who they have, but I feel better with one more reliable ball handler on the roster. Let's head to the fan lines and welcome Josh, who's checking in from Glencoe. Josh, good afternoon. What brings you to the program?
Yeah, LeBron James.
Okay, what about him?
we have the firepower, I think, for a trade to LA. I don't know about the cash. I just want to know what are the chances and what we need to do for our team in the future.
LeBron to the Wolves? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Trade him. Trade him right now. I'd love it.
Okay, thank you for that. The LeBron thing's interesting, and I'm going to talk to Trent about that in the 5 o'clock hour and get his thoughts. He signed the $52 million player option. I would not at all be surprised if LeBron ends up somewhere else before the season starts. And I think the betting favorite is a return to Cleveland. There are assets there that might appeal to the Lakers as they look to build around Luka Doncic. But if you're LeBron and you're 40-41, your team is not competing in the West, right? I mean, how many teams do we believe are better than LA today, right now? Thunder, the Wolves, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Mavs. I mean, without Kyrie, maybe not. They've got D'Lo now to step in until Kyrie's back, but maybe. Golden State's in the mix. San Antonio, I think, is better, can be better, are poised to be better. So LeBron's likely not winning a title in LA. But I mean, why would he come? I mean, why would the Wolves want him for a 1 or 2 year fix? And you've got to give LA a bunch of young assets. No, I don't think that's the answer, but I do believe that LeBron could be on the move. That wouldn't at all be surprising. And if I were him, there's a very short list of potential contenders that might be interested and might have the assets to move to LA, because, I mean, you can't just move LeBron. The Lakers want significant stuff back to help usher in the Doncic era. But that will be a talker. I don't know if it's 50-50, but I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron's on a different team before next season starts. I find it really interesting what Houston and Denver have done these last couple days to, I think, elevate their standing in the West. Now, Houston obviously got the ball rolling with Kevin Durant with the big trade, but, you know, they've done some nice things around the edges too. You know, they bring in Capella, their former center, and now they got 3 bigs. They can move Sengun to power forward and have Capella and Steven Adams at center, and that really changes, I think, how they operate. And with the defenders they've got, you know, Durant's going to be surrounded now with Dorian Finney-Smith being signed. They re-signed Jabari Smith. Amen Thompson looks like a star. That Houston team is legit. They're like 10, 11 deep. And they're going to be a problem in the West if Durant fits in nicely. And I think Denver's done a couple really significant moves. Obviously, they brought in Cam Johnson from Brooklyn, replacing Michael Porter Jr. They threw in a number 1 pick to get the Nets' leading scorer. They brought back Bruce Brown, their defender, who was so important on their championship team. And then today they added the one thing they were really missing, and that's a backup for Nikola Jokic. You know, remember whenever Jokic went to the bench, Denver looked terrible. They had nothing. They had no rim protection. They had nothing in the middle. You could just beat them up inside. And they traded for Jonas Valanciunas, gave up basically nothing for him, and he becomes their backup center. I think Denver has done a really nice job of filling some holes and understanding the window they have with Nikola Jokic. So I think they've done well. So many big names have moved in the last 24, 30 hours. And really nice that the Jones brothers got paid too. Dane mentioned it earlier. Tyus goes to Orlando. 1 year, $7 million. And younger brother Trey, 3 years, $24 million. He looked really nice for the, 20 or so games he played with Chicago. That's a nice contract for Trey. So the Jones boys making some nice cash and maybe finding a home for Tyus in Orlando. He joins a team that's all in to make a move in a wide open East. And no team, maybe Atlanta and Orlando, I think, are the 2 teams in the East that have done the most to try to take advantage of the just crazy injuries that have hit the contenders. You know, Damian Lillard's time with Milwaukee ends with the Achilles. Jason Tatum's season's over next year with Boston. Halliburton with Indiana. Crazy opportunity for some of these middling Eastern teams, and a few of them have gone after it, which I think is pretty impressive. Much more NBA talk with Double T coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Bottom of the hour, it's Marney Gellner. Big Lynx game tonight. We'll talk about that a bit. When we come back, we'll take a pause, answer some texts, look at some calls. It's Sinykin for Barrero on a Tuesday afternoon on The Fan. Back with you, 4:20 on a Tuesday afternoon. Sinykin in for Barrero today and tomorrow. We'll talk some football tomorrow. Musk got me in the mood. We talked before the show started. A little smack talking, a little border battling. We'll do some of that tomorrow. Big game at Target Center tonight. It's a big week at Target Center for your Minnesota Lynx, who will host the Indiana Fever tonight for the Commissioner's Cup. Then they'll play Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Also at Target Center, a chance to really pad the record, which stands at a WNBA best 14-2. They'll face the 8-8 Fever tonight, minus a star, Caitlin Clark, who is still nursing the groin injury. She will not play, ruled out by the Fever. She'll miss her third consecutive game and her it'd be the 8th out of 17 games this season, which takes some of the starts certainly out of the matchup. The two all-star captains going at it would have been fun. Fever have not been here yet this season. I'm sure the fans who scooped up tickets were salivating at the prospect of watching Caitlin Clark and the Fever. She will not be on the floor tonight. Opportunity for your Wild to win a second straight Commissioner's Cup championship and share in a kitty of $500,000 if they win this game tonight. And I think you all understand what that means if you know the economics of the WNBA. I'll put it this way. They win tonight, they split $500,000. And if there's 12 players, I don't know if the coaches, do you have to put the coaches in there too? I don't know how that all works. But let's just say there's 15 people that split the money. Kara, can you do the math on that real quick for me? 5? I'll do it for you. I'm not going to put you on the spot. $500,000 divided by, let's say it's 15, is $33,000 a person if they win. If a team wins the WNBA title at the end of the season, each player gets about $21,000, which that's going to change sooner rather than later when the TV rights deal changes in a couple years and the money explodes as we expect it to. But as it sits right now, these players get substantially more money if they win tonight's game than if and when they win the WNBA title, which makes this game very important. Some of these women are making, 50, 60, 70 grand, and they're going to almost double their salary tonight if they win this game. So there's a lot on the line beyond the, banner that gets raised, the trophy they win, which is all great. And they did it last year when they knocked out the Liberty in New York. But there are some real financial ramifications, big ones, for these players if they can win the game tonight. Talked earlier about Caitlin Clark and the interesting response and reactions we get from fellow players. We've seen it on the court, obviously, the very physical play aimed at Caitlin Clark. We've seen legends of the WNBA kind of diss Caitlin Clark and your impact on the league. And I get texts like this one from Paul, who writes, if I was a WNBA player who's put in the daily work over the years, I'd look at Clark as just another player, not any more special than me. In fact, less so, because I've put in the work over the years and she just got here. So that's what it's all about. It's like I'm older and I've been here longer, so I'm more meaningful, I'm more valuable, I'm more important, because look at what I've done, averaging 8 points a game for 7 seasons as the 6th person or the starter on my team. Come on. We all know the impact that this young woman has had on this league and on women's basketball from the moment a young lady, a girl, can bounce a basketball all the way through the pro circuit. The impact she is going to have and she has had is unlike any women's player we've seen. And we've seen some fantastic ones. I maintain Cheryl Miller is the best women's player I've ever seen. Caitlin Clark has a chance to be something special, and she's more than just the Steph Curry who could knock down logo threes, but she has a talent that we haven't seen any women's player have, and that's that shooting ability. But she's much more than that. We saw it in Iowa. We've seen it in her first year and change as a pro player. She's a great passer. She's averaging 18 a game, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal. And again, she hasn't been able to stay on the court this season, but she never missed a game in 4 years at Iowa. She didn't miss a game last season. And she is the future of this league should she choose to stay. I've seen reports where she could just form her own league. She could just decide, you know what, maybe I'll just do my own thing, and we could all make a lot more money if we do something like we see with the league that she decided, the tournament she decided not to participate in. She's a special generational player, and she won't be the last. And, the start Paige Beckers has had down in Dallas gives, I think, everyone here hope, and certainly the folks in Dallas hope that she could be every bit the same kind of impact player Caitlin Clark is having for her team, that she could be on Dallas in a year or two as they build around her. Paige is off to a great start and will be an all-star. But to discount Caitlin Clark because it's her second year, I've been here 7-8 years, why should I care about her? Did you have charter flights before Caitlin Clark got there? What were salaries like? What was the TV deal like? It's going to change, and she's leading that charge. So I've got a number of texts that aren't impressed. I don't see it. If you watch her play, again, she can be a little irritating. She gets a little ornery on the court, and we've seen that. We saw it at Iowa. We see it from time to time. But the reaction from other players, that instance last week where she gets poked in the eye and then the other player just basically rams her with his shoulder to the ground and doesn't even get ejected for that. That was just accepted. The way she's officiated, the way other players treat her, it's fascinating to me that, your moneymaker here is treated like every other player, and maybe even less so. There's just not a whole lot of respect. We'll see if that changes. It's just too bad we're not going to see her tonight. Man, would that be electric at Target Center tonight if she was back for this big game. Obviously, the Fever knows they're in for a tough one against the best defensive team in the league, a team that is playing with such, it just seems like chemistry, like they just all fit, and they're all playing together so well. If Fisa misses a few games, they don't miss a beat. She's back and picks right up where she was. Diamond Miller starting to get a bit of a run and find her flow. Anxious to talk more links just a few hours from the big game at Target Center with Marney Gellner. She will join next. We'll talk some links with her. We'll get her thoughts on what the Wolves have done the last few days. Marney joins next on The Fan after these. Back 4:34 on a Tuesday afternoon. Dave Sinykin in for Barrero today. Double T joining me in studio, top of the hour at 5 o'clock to try to catch up on all the breathtaking news made in the NBA over the last couple of days. Breaking news out of Wimbledon. It's a stunner. Coco Gauff upset in the first round at Wimbledon. She becomes just the third woman in the Open era to lose in the first round at Wimbledon right after winning the French Open. Coco knocked off today by unseeded Diana Yastremska of Ukraine, 7-6, 6-1. Coco out. The number 2 ranked Gauff made mistake after mistake at the number 1 court, including 9 double faults. And she is out in round 1. I'm sure Double T will be devastated. Big tennis guy that he is. We'll chat about that when he joins. But right now, I'm very pleased and happy to welcome fan favorite Marney Gellner to the program on this Tuesday afternoon. Marney, what's happening?
Cindy, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. I did just get out of the pool to do this interview.
You are the best.
So, A, you're welcome. B, if anything happened in the last hour, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'll update you if anything massive is important. You know that Caitlin's out tonight, correct?
Yes.
That happened before you. So wait, is this a pool at your house? Is this a community pool?
Yes.
Yes, it's at your house.
Yeah. It sounds like you're fishing for an invite, but yes, it is at the house. It was a big project that we did last summer. And yes, love it. But yes, I did read the news that Caitlin Clark was out. And the reason I can even be in the pool today is because the game is on Amazon Prime, the Lynx and Indiana Fever. It's a big national game. Like, there are no WNBA games other than this one today. Same with yesterday and tomorrow. So they clear a 3-day window so that whoever ends up playing in the Commissioner's Cup Championship does not have a back-to-back. So nobody plays Monday in order to set the stage for Tuesday and clear everyone for Wednesday. So, like, the entire league has paused for this one game.
Wow. That's nice for you. You'd like to be there, I'm sure, broadcasting the game, but extra pool time's extra pool time. That's not so bad.
Yeah, we'll always take that. And it's a super busy week. The Lynx play at home Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. So most of my 4th of July weekend will be at Target Center working Lynx games. So if I don't work this one, then okay, I'll watch it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, silver lining. You're home. You're not traveling, so you get to be home for 4th of July weekend. You just got to spend a few hours at the Big Bullseye every couple days. That's all right.
I only have the best team in the league to cover, so I gotta take it. Correct.
And we'll remind folks that don't have Amazon Prime, you can listen to the game on this very radio station, your home for the Minnesota Lynx, 100.3 FM, The Fan, and on iHeartRadio. That's always important to know.
Great point.
Because this is not everybody wants to spend the bucks with Mr. Bezos to have Amazon Prime. And that's a shame. Imagine if Caitlin were playing, the angst for those that couldn't watch this game tonight. This has to have been a just dream start for this squad, for you to cover this team. And what I keep reading about, Marney, is just what you want to hear about your team, that they all get along, that there's chemistry, there's something special brewing here. They all kind of fit. They know their roles. You're a lot closer to this team, obviously, than I am, just reading it here and there. But how much do you buy into that, and how important do you feel that is?
It is 100% the truth. It is not smoke. It is not, let's tell people what they want to hear. This team is 14-2, so it's a very good basketball team. Mm-hmm. But when your best player, who in this case happens to be named Nafisa Collier, when she is super humble and unselfish and team-oriented and also, not to mention, one of the nicest people you'll ever come across, when that is your best player and your team leader and where everything starts, it can only be good. And this team got along so well and had such great chemistry last season and went to the WNBA finals and lost in a heartbreaking, somewhat unfair Game 5. But the starting 5 is all back. 1 through 5 is back. Even the top sub, Natisha Heidemann, is back. So when you have that good of a synergy on your team, you try to not upset it. If it ain't broke, you don't get in there and meddle and try to fix it. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Lynx did. This is a clear run it back, similar to what the Wolves seem to be doing, except the Lynx were right there within seconds of it. And so running it back seemed like a really logical, yes, we were a whisker away from getting the title. And a big reason why is the chemistry and the camaraderie. And if you follow the team at all on any social media forum, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, the videos of them goofing around, poking fun at each other, getting down to business, getting serious. The 2 point guards on this team, Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann, do their little videos on the side. They call themselves Stud Buds. And I think it's important to note Buds is spelled B-U-D-Z. And they are hilarious. And again, the chemistry, the camaraderie, we actually and truly do get along is a huge part of any team. And it is 100% real on this Lynx team, for sure.
I have a soft spot for Natisha Heidemann because she's a Green Bay girl, so she's always going to have a soft spot in my heart. Yeah. And I enjoy watching.
She had her high school jersey retired this time.
Is that right? I did not know that. I feel like she's taken a major step. You know, we all knew this was a championship contender team with the MVP favorite and all that, but I don't know how many people thought 14-2 was realistic. And if you had told me, Nafisa's going to miss a couple games with a back injury, 14-2 is legit. And it's not just her, obviously. It's people like Heidemann and others stepping up when called on. If Courtney Williams is having a bad day, someone else is ready to jump in. It just feels like right now everything's cooking. And this one's important tonight because, as we talked about in the last segment, these women get paid tonight if they win this game, and we can't overstate how important that is. That's some serious money for these young ladies.
Yeah, it is, and I love the approach that the players have taken. Cheryl Reeve, whatever, they're not afraid or embarrassed or feel bad about saying, like, we are trying to win this game to get this money. And we all do things in life to get money. We take extra jobs or we try to invest in something because it makes us money. That's a huge part of what we do. And when you make $100,000, which is what a lot of these players make, right? Some make, 75 to 80. Some make a little more than 100, but let's just give it 100 as a nice round number. If you got a third of that just as a bonus for winning one game, you would be friggin' pumped up and you would play your butt off for that bag. And that's what's happening tonight. The players on the winning team get $30,000. When you're making $100,000, $30,000 is pretty dang good. I mean, $30,000 is a huge chunk of money for most normal Americans. And the losing team, each player gets, I want to say, $10,000. The MVP of the game gets an additional $5,000, so $35,000 if you win it and you're the MVP. I mean, that is truly something to play for. And then I thought Cheryl Reeve really spoke eloquently after the last game on Sunday night. She was asked about Commissioner's Cup, and she was like, hey, it's a trophy, and it's a contest, and we want to win it. We're not treating it like it's a WNBA title. We're not trying to fool people, but anytime there's a competition and you win it, you can celebrate that. You can go hard for that. There's a banner. There's a championship. Other teams tried to win it. We're trying to win it. We don't have to apologize for people who are like, oh, really, you won the Commissioner's Cup. Yeah, we did. We won the Commissioner's Cup. They won it last year, and they celebrated in the locker room, and it was awesome. And then they got right back to work and back to business the next day. It was just kind of a early to mid-season little carrot that's dangling there that all of these players in the league were legitimately and are legitimately seriously trying to buckle down and win.
Yeah, the place will be electric tonight, and it's the way the schedule is broken out. The fact they have 3 home games to follow this, I think, lessens the chance of a letdown, which is natural after a big game like tonight. You might wonder how they'll get ready on Thursday for Washington, but the fact that it's home and the way this team is coached and the veterans on this team, I don't think there's a lot of concern there will be a letdown if they were to hoist the banner after tonight's game. Expansion, 3 new teams coming to the league. I mean, suddenly this team, by the end of the decade, is going to be 50, or this league, I should say, is going to be 50% larger than it was a few years ago. So it's Detroit, Cleveland, and Philly are the new expansion teams coming. That's a lot of expansion quickly. Do you feel like there's any concern that this is happening too fast? What's your take on that?
I was not expecting to see those 3 released. That kind of caught me off guard because remember, the Golden State Valkyries joined this year, and Portland and Toronto are joining next year.
Right.
So we are gaining 3 teams between this year and next year, and then those next 3 that were just announced are an additional. So that is a huge amount of growth, and they're going to come one at a time after Portland and Toronto join at the same time next year. But still, that, to your point, 50% larger in just a handful of years is a shocking growth. But the talent is there. There are so many really good basketball players who don't make the final cut of a team that could play in this league. But the rosters aren't big enough. We don't have enough teams. So I do believe that the league can survive and thrive with this. And these are no joke. Like, you don't say, well, I might try to start a team. I hope it's going to last. We think Detroit will work. These expansion tags are like $250 million. So you ain't fooling around if you're willing to pony up and own one of these teams. It's a huge commitment, so you better make sure that your fan base is ready to support it. I'm assuming all of that research was done, and everything shows that Cleveland, Detroit, Philly are all worthy and ready to support it. And we've had basketball in those towns before, in Cleveland and in Detroit. Now, Philly will be new, but that's a wonderful women's basketball pocket. So, yeah, I mean, here we go. We've been waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it. And I think thanks in huge part to Caitlin Clark, everybody was finally like, okay, we have the confidence. We can do this now.
You led me right where I was going next. The explosion of popularity of women's basketball, certainly led by Caitlin's amazing career at Iowa and what she's done in first year and change in the WNBA has got a large reason why we're seeing this growth. And I find it really interesting, all this Caitlin Clark backlash that we see, whether it's players on the court going beyond what you normally see to knock her down or to get her going, to the fact that in the All-Star voting, she had more votes herself than I think both teams a couple years ago got combined. She got more votes herself. She's first among fans, third among media votes among guards, and the ninth most votes among players. What's going on here, Marnie, with how players are reacting to the attention and the love that Caitlin Clark seems to get? It really seems to bother a lot of players in this league.
It's interesting that you say that, because almost everyone that I talk to or that comes around, it does not bother. And I think the couple that it bothers are maybe really loud, because I think what you just described and said, and I'm not trying to rip you, Cindy.
No, you can rip me. I'm fine with that.
It is not accurate. There are players who are bothered by it. Most are extremely thankful. And I think most are also totally realistic that multiple things are true. The league was awesome before Caitlin Clark. It was definitely not as popular. I'm not saying that, but the talent level was awesome. But a lot of people didn't pay attention, didn't care, weren't interested. And then Caitlin Clark joined, and suddenly there is absolutely no denying the explosion. And anyone who tries to spin the narrative any other way and dismiss the magnitude of Caitlin Clark is completely delusional. Completely delusional. I cannot listen to a single argument of anyone who wants to say, yeah, but the league was going to explode. No. There were 20 plus years of the league trying to get over the top, trying to get over the hump. And it was Caitlin Clark that took them there in an exponentially quick pace. And I think almost everyone understands that and realizes that. And they may not come out and gush, because it would be kind of weird for a player on another team to be like, thank you, Caitlin. I've been waiting for someone to reach out their hand and pull me up like that. Nobody says that. But I think the backlash you hear is more like people on social media posting a clip of what looks like somebody said something and it may or may not be true. And there is not that hatred, and there might be some jealousy. However, if you really step back and look at it, ain't nobody want to be Caitlin Clark. I mean, she can't go anywhere without tons of security, and just there is a weird frenzy around her. When she's been at Target Center, the group of people that moves with her, looking for an autograph, looking for a photo, trying to yell her name, everywhere she goes. Yeah. It is a phenomenon. It's been awesome for the league. There's no doubt about it. She's a lightning rod for everything. She also gets a lot of unconditional, incredible, outrageous love, as well as the criticism. And there's a racial component, and it is a never-ending, winding road when it comes to Caitlin Clark and the attention, but the ultimate bottom line is it has brought a spotlight to the league that it has never seen before. And I, for one, who has been part of the league for a long time, love it. And I'm so thankful for it.
No, I'm sure you are. And I get everything you're saying. But when you see a poll that NBA players voted her the 9th best guard, that's eye-opening because she's clearly not the 9th best guard. I understand she hasn't been as available as many players this year, but you tell me there's 8 better guards in the WNBA, and I'll laugh at you. That's going to get attention, right? When that comes out that they purposely didn't vote Caitlin anywhere near the top of the guards in their conference, that's going to be newsworthy. And it's not that important, but it is going to garner attention when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I do not know the context of, like, what was the ranking or, was it point guard or is it just backcourt? I
think it's guards.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just guards. Look. So
you're talking a 1 or a 2? Yeah,
I mean, look. I mean, of course, fans are going to vote her number 1. Media voted her number 3, the third best guard. That's fair. 9th? Come on. What are we doing here? That's embarrassing, I think. That's just me.
Yeah,
maybe it's just me.
I'm going to, Skylar Diggins, Sabrina Ionescu. She's in that mix. She's not 9th. Yeah. She's in that mix. She's not 9th. You're right. You're right. I can't get in the inside the heads. I don't know what that would be a signal of. It probably deserves more digging into.
Her shoes sold out in like a minute yesterday, right? Her new Kobe shoe that she unveiled. Sold out in a minute, $190 shoe. So you tell me, you veteran WNBA players, that she's not making a difference. All right, last few minutes. I want to get your thoughts on what the Wolves have done. Not a huge surprise, I don't think, that Na was the casualty, but Nas and Randall are back, and Randall signed for 3 more years. And it looks like we kind of are running it back, minus Na, hoping Shannon, Clark, Dillingham all emerge into bigger roles. How are you feeling about the strategy that Connolly and his staff have used so far these first couple of days? And do you think there might be a surprise in store before all said and done?
Well, knowing Tim Connolly, I would not at all be surprised if there is some kind of surprise. I have no inside knowledge of that. I just saw Tim Connolly yesterday at the press conference where the Wolves introduced their 2 rookie picks. I just think that he's such a smart basketball mind. He's done so many good things. His track record speaks for itself. If he says we should run this back because I've got an idea or a feeling or we know this will pan out in this way, I just tend to believe him. I think he's put together an awesome talent on the roster, and I feel like he's going to there's a move. It just feels like it. It feels like there's either a move or he's really trying to make some kind of a move. I hope there's an upgrade at the point guard position. I don't know if Rob Dillingham is going to be that upgrade. Maybe he is. I really, really believe in Tim Connolly. So if he tells me this is what we're doing, I just say, okay, I will sit back. I will watch. Last year was really fun, and so was the year before.
No doubt. Were you able to pause or pose for a picture with the 2 rookies? Because that would be hilarious. You with Berenger and Rocco. No? We need 2 Marnies. We need to put yourself on your shoulders.
Conference, I stood off to the side, but I did not specifically pose with a photo, no.
Those are some large individuals that Mr. Connolly
missed
found.
An opportunity. I don't like to do that. I don't like to ever ask for photos because it feels so like I want something from you. And I need them to be able to see me as like I kind of work with you and I'm not enamored by you and I'm not going to ask you for things. So then when I start asking for pictures, it kind of blurs the line. So I try to never do that.
No, I understand.
But now I'm regretting it.
The idea of a couple 7-foot+ people on either side of you
I know.
We've kind of fun to see.
I know. I work in that world every day, so it honestly doesn't faze me anymore.
Understood. Enjoy your 4th holiday in the pool, out of the pool, at Target Center. We'll be watching your coverage. As always, you do a great job on the televised side of the links, and let's hope the season keeps rolling the way it has, and you have a championship to talk about as the months go by, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Cindy. You're doing a great job sitting in today. Shout out to Kara, running the board for you and producing the heck out of a holiday week.
Absolutely.
We're in good hands over there at the Fan. Nice job.
No doubt. Thanks, Marnie. Appreciate the time. Enjoy your 4th.
Okay, see you guys.
Marney Gellner on the call, usually for Lynx basketball, not tonight. As we said, it's Prime Video tonight. If you want to watch the Lynx, we encourage you to listen on your home for Lynx basketball, 100.3 FM The Fan, or on the iHeart Radio app. When we come back, it is a Tuesday edition of In the Zone. As Double T, Trent Tucker, joins me in studio to make sense of all the NBA news, Wolves and otherwise. Double T in the house when we come back.